I won't say they take what they did.
Check, check, check.
Haley is probably more animated. Yeah. All right. Forgive.
I did. I talked to a lot. It was getting hot. Yeah. Donated wings for kids. Nobody knows. I've seen things up like that.
Well, crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably about 5
I
minutes.
told somebody the last year as we got to like game 5, I think it was. I said, you mean to tell me LeBron James did this 10 straight years?
It actually made me appreciate.
You know what I'm saying?
It's funny when they curl.
It actually made me appreciate.
Sure. Yeah. It's like, I feel like it affected him. It affected me. They ran it. When it gets here,
Trying to wake up. Yeah. But I know, but they still used to have the coach over that. Yeah, that was not good. So, I'm jumping into something else. Good. Not too long. Okay, let me see process. Good opportunity. What's that?
Already off your game.
There you go.
3 minutes late.
Since the guy in Washington State's gonna actually be here.
Well,
I never have had that happen in all my years. You told me that. Yeah, the dude's like flipping like, yeah, sorry, I'm not gonna be there next week. They told me that at the beginning of the season, you know what I mean? So I could have had time to plan something. It sounds better when it's a lot. It's showtime. It sounds better.
yeah, I've covered that.
Well, I'm getting it. Okay.
Morning. Just off the top, we had another great offseason. I just want to thank all the staff that has boots on the ground with our players. Our players go back in their own markets, most of them, and lifestyle services with Ayanna Lawson, PR with Matt. Our security team are handling a lot of player camps and appearances, and then medical and performance coaching staffs out on the road, working with the guys on their games and bodies, and that takes a lot of effort. I want to thank all the staff that did that. I also want to thank Clay and Sam for resourcing that. It allows us to be a 12-month program. So I hope you guys had a great summer.
Hold it up for questions.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Joe.
Wanted to ask you about Chet. Obviously, he was impactful when he came back from injury, but with a, I guess full off season, shortened off season for you guys. But how do you expect kind of him to? How can a full off season sort of help him even more so than when we last saw him?
Well, I think we saw last year. I think he did great work last offseason and came into last season looking the way he did, which was very impressive. Obviously, the injury changed the course for last season, and he did an incredible job of hopping on a moving train and helping our team reach its ceiling last year. And so he's got a track record of productive off seasons. What that actually looks like, I try to stay pretty open to. I don't really predict anything. It's just the guys that are efficient and impactful are the ones that tend to have the runway for more, and he's clearly shown to be an efficient and impactful player despite only being a third-year player, and so we're excited about where that goes.
Were there things in those first 10 games before he got hurt that he was showing that maybe were slow to come back post-injury?
No, I was more referring to those 10 games relative to the previous season. I just think he's shown the ability to use an off season to improve. He breathes the game, and so he's a guy that if you give him time, he's going to get to work, and that's what he's done his entire life. It's what he's done this past off season.
Yeah, so, Coach, you guys are obviously the defending champs. You've signed your 3 top stars. You got all the TV appearances. Clearly, your positioning in the league as a team, from the outside looking in, has changed. Does that change anything about how you approach this process from a mental standpoint? From the fact that you're defending champs, you got an established roster, everybody's gunning for you, you've got the national television appearances, all of that stuff.
The circumstances are always changing year to year, and even within the season. The challenges are always changing year to year, and in the season, we try to have a very consistent and stable approach to that. And we try to have things that are pretty timeless and that can transcend circumstances, and we emphasize those in all circumstances. We rely on those in all circumstances, and in the face of every challenge. This year is no different. The unpredictable circumstances and challenges that'll come up through the season, that's how we'll navigate them, as we always have.
Shai's a guy who just gets better every season. Obviously, we see what he does on the court, but can you kind of speak to just that behind-the-scenes work, the off-season grind that he goes through, and just how much, I guess, dedication he has to that part of his game?
It's a better question for him because a lot of his work is in the invisible spaces. He doesn't, he just does the work, and a lot of it is unseen. But he is deeply committed to being the best player and leader and person that he can be, and he puts the work in behind that. And improvement is a skill, and being able to improve kind of ahead of your improvement curve, so to speak, is a skill that he has displayed time and time again. And so he's got a great process, he's got great vision, and he puts the work behind that clearly. In terms of what that actually looks like, he's the only person that can really answer that accurately.
Coach, obviously, J-Dub went through his off-season surgery with his wrist, and then, recently a lot of videos have been coming out of him, working out, with his left hand, obviously, and, getting back to that. What have those conversations been like recently, leading into his ramp-up, to return, and, yeah?
Yeah, I think, a professional basketball player in the off-season, wakes up at the same time, does their PT, does their strength training, does their basketball work, once they get into the rhythm of the off-season, and sometimes does basketball work two times a day in his case. And the fact that he was rehabbing an injury didn't change his process in the offseason, which is impressive. It builds an unbelievable amount of fortitude and commitment and mental toughness to do that, even within the constraints. And he showed that ability. He's a professional basketball player, and even if it's in the face of a rehab. You know, it doesn't change his off-season process. That was very impressive this year with him.
Yeah, Mark, how has Mark Daigneault's life changed since winning the NBA title?
Not much, to be honest with you. Not much. You know, you're in the cycle of the season, cycle of the off season. You know, the season ended and we had the draft, we had summer league, we had to onboard new players. Players got into their off season stuff, and the majority, you know, the only changes my life's taken on is with our kids and our family. You know, we have a young family and they're growing, but that's been the most change that I've experienced.
No, people don't bother you more in town or recognize you, or people back home or any of that stuff?
Yeah, that's definitely happened the last couple of years, but that doesn't change your life. So.
You always talk about this group is uncommon in terms, I guess, of maturity and everything else. Any concerns, because a few more commercials coming their way, promos for the networks, things of that nature. Any concerns that, do you change anything about how you approach camp or anything? Is it just like another camp had you not won it? Anything different about this camp?
Yeah, like I said, the circumstances and the challenges are always changing, you know, and a month into the season, the circumstances will change and the challenges will change, and that's just the flow of an NBA season, and you know, it's pretty unpredictable as to where that'll go. What is predictable is the solution to it and the things that we're going to rely on. You know, we've always relied on being very present. We've always relied on stacking the days. We've always relied on continuous improvement and an emphasis on the things that kind of transcend circumstances. And that's really where our focus has been and is and will continue to be.
And you got a full roster back. You just won the title. How easy is it to say what we're work, or are you constantly looking to change? I mean, how much do you change or look to add, or with the roster was virtually the same players you had last season?
Yeah, a lot of the faces are the same. The team is always changing. You know, as the league evolves, as players evolve, as we evolve as a program, we audit. You know, every offseason we audit player development. We audit the offense, the defense, our way of doing things. We're constantly looking for ways to improve. We're going to make those adjustments coming into the season and continuously look to improve all those things into the season. One thing that we have to caution against is assuming that anything from last year carries over. You know, we obviously did a lot of things really well last year, even in our process, and it's important that we get very present, rebuild those habits, and reinvest in those fundamentals, and not take anything for granted, as we do every year.
Coach, you saw, you know, you guys locked up Chet and all three of the guys, obviously, but, you know, Chet, you know, you guys were able to lock up. You know, going from him not playing his rookie year and to see where, you know, obviously we've seen him grow on the court, but where would you say you've seen him grow most as like a leader, or even off the court as a you know, man in general over the last 2 years? Yeah,
I mean, we constantly try to encourage our guys to grow through their experiences. The NBA life is rich with experiences, and some are positive and some are challenging, and he's had his share of both. But the thing I'll say about Chet is, as well as many of our guys, but certainly Chet, is he's grown through his experiences. You know, he's been in some tough spots, obviously, and faced some challenges young in his career, and he's grown through those. And then he's also had pretty potent success and shown to be very high impact, and he grows through that. You know, and so that's skill. It's really a skill, you know, to be able to grow through whatever's going on is how you improve. And that's why he's continued to improve, and that's why we're so optimistic about, you know, his future, as well as, like I said, many of the other guys on the team.
Mark, this morning we got the news about Kenrich having a procedure in the left knee. I know you can't tell us all in detail, but if you have anything more than that, or what happened to him, can you tell us that?
No, I mean, he's having a procedure today, and we'll update you guys as appropriate, but we have nothing more than what we released.
Mark, during the finals, you talked a little bit about fans coming up to you and having different ideas. What's the worst and best idea that you've heard from, like, a fan?
I can't recall right off the bat. I mean, the fans in town, the one thing I'll say is, to Barry's question and that question, everyone's been just so supportive of the team. I've always said the fan base puts the wind at our backs, and I'm so excited that our fans are as excited as they are about this team, and it gives us a great sense of responsibility as we start another season. But we certainly appreciate our fans, can't wait to get back around them in the game setting.
This
we're
will be the last one for Coach, and then we're going to bring Shai in.
It really felt like Dub kind of leveled up as a defensive player last season. From a coaching standpoint, what does he bring kind of in a unique way as a defender that you don't see from a lot of guys?
Well, the first thing I'll say is he's always kind of had that level. You know, I think his first start might have been against Jalen Brown, guarding Jalen Brown, which is a tall assignment. So I think he showed that off the bat. But his versatility is always what stands out, and the game is dynamic and the league is dynamic, increasingly so. And so you need dynamic players on both ends of the floor, and that's what he is. And he's just, he can handle a lot of different assignments, and he really unlocks what we can do out there, both schematically and with lineups, because of just how flexible and versatile he is. And it's one of the most impactful parts of his game and what he brings to the team. So I'll see you guys this week. Yep.
Yes. Strike me the grand Mitchell Wood or Krabs. Didn't strike me that Weinberg Wood. Hess didn't know he couldn't find a football stadium if you put him at the 50-yard line. I don't know who did it. Who did it? It'd be nice to have a good situation. St. Joe's there. We talked about it.
That was crazy. Well, I find it odd that it stays on Washington and stuff, but it keeps every yeah, maybe he did something, I don't know. That was weird.
scared to say, toss a game.
Yeah, 5 people. Yeah.
Well, but they saw. But I mean, you come, let's go just on the off chance that, or you tackle somebody. And you watch first half, they know they're not tackle. But they don't cover anybody. Yeah, they might score, but. Who'd they bring? I got a question. The Thunder's 2, Jalen Williams. The Cowboys 3 Smiths in the secondary. Sam, Kale, and Dylan.
Dylan's entering the portal, by the way.
Oh, yeah, right now?
Yeah.
So he gone? Who else? Anybody else in the portal?
Okay. Forgot about
That's good.
intense, and then I won cricket. And then
Which, if you want to hear the best reaction ever,
did all the entrances for them? Yeah.
He said, how do you lose the logs now? They just have a spot.
Especially when you got old Zach Allen on side.
This is exactly what I was trying to do. Figure out how to get
I wish there was a way to see that. But it doesn't. When you don't count what order you are, because I mean, you don't get 5 minutes.
Oh, cool. You should do like that. You just try to routine. No, I know. The good thing is like this one's chill. Like I would never do so cool. It's like, what's your dream career? I'm like, why am I doing this? Well, when did you guys start school? August 4th. I guess it's in a month. I know. Last year. Digital recording. Is it an online class?
No. Planning to go to France. I know the trip we were going to take in 2020 before the pandemic hit.
Really?
From an Amish family, and mother as well.
Nobody's watching.
Yeah. So anyway, but I was here.
Okay.
I think I've seen him.
Yeah.
What do you think is
We met at he's small. He doesn't know, like, it's all he knows. It's like, fairly gone. I don't know about that. Pretty timid. That's the most I grew up with first off, you ever read where the restaurant
What's up?
Questions for Lou?
Lou, tell us about the experience of taking the trophy around back home, sort of like Stanley Cup style.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great. We had a lot of fun. You know, I got to sign the Book of Honor of Montreal, which was huge for me and my family, and also got to bring the trophy to my neighborhood. Yeah, it was fun. You know, a lot of people showed up, a lot of kids. You know, it was just great to being able to do that event for my people, and then you know it was we enjoyed those 2 days.
What would you say most has changed since you won a championship? Just, you know, in your personal life, maybe on the floor as well. What is the biggest thing you've seen that changed in the last few months?
I would say the recognition, honestly, from our fans here and from anywhere in the world, honestly, where I've been. You know, a lot of people are a fan of basketball, and they recognize me from, you know, being on the team. I made this championship run, so it was that was big. But I would say that, and also just the confidence that, you know, achieving something like that is really big. So, you know, just walking around knowing that, you know, it was a great one that we had.
How did things change just from late into June, so that's deeper than you've ever gone? The off season, getting rest, but also getting some basketball stuff, or maybe you didn't. Maybe you just took away from basketball. Just how did all that change for you this off season?
I approached it like any other off season. Obviously, I took some time off just to reset my body, and after that, you know, when I was back on the court, I just had the same routine I always have. You know, I'm always training, always doing my conditioning stuff and all that. So, you know, that's been fine. It would just happen in a shorter time. But other than that, you know, I was just back in the gym as soon as I was ready, and then I was back on my routine.
So you've always been kind of an underdog, kind of a guy that was maybe overlooked a little bit. You've always had to fight for respect. Now you're universally known as one of the best defensive players in the NBA, and you're an NBA champion. How do you keep your edge when your situation has changed so much?
For me, I would say just to never forget how everything has started for me. Like you said, the underdog and the underguy. I mean, it's always like that in my head, and then I always feel like I would have to prove something, and that's just how I keep myself going. Obviously, you know, there's still a lot of work to be done for myself, you know, the same way I approach the game. But, you know, it's nice to be recognized as this type of guy now, but, you know, in my head, I still feel the same way just to keep me going.
Lou, you know, you are and have been, like he said, an elite defensive player in this league. It kind of felt like last year that Dub really went from, he had been a good defensive player, but he kind of leveled up and became one of the best in the league as well. What did you see, as someone who is so familiar with that kind of craft, that you thought made him, go up a level on that end of the floor?
Yeah. For him, just knowing the stuff that he can do on the court, I mean, Dub can do so much, and especially on the defensive side, and he's really aggressive on that end too. So just him noticing and knowing some of the stuff that he can do on that end of the floor, and then the fact that he got recognized as well, but that he still, I'm pretty sure he'll still have the same approach, and he'll attack that side of the floor.
You guys are in like unfamiliar territory, like obviously coming off of a championship win. How do you feel like you guys are going to approach, or just you in general approach, having that kind of target on your back? I mean, you guys already did, being the first in the West the last 2 years, but how do you approach it now, just from your vantage point, obviously being one of the leaders of the team too?
I would say try our best to approach it the same way we've done in the past few years. Not really get into what the other people say, all the media stuff says. I was saying whatever happens in our locker room and in our stuff. But yeah, we know what to do, and we know it's going to be a long run. It's a long season, so we'll try our best to get better and to approach every single day to get better, and then we'll see where we end up.
You mentioned going back home with that trophy, seeing the kids where you grew up. Has it sunk into you the domino effect, the impact you've had on them to show them that that kind of stuff is possible? Yeah,
definitely. Obviously, every summer, I go back home and try to have my camp, with my foundation, and trying to give back to my community. And that one was just it's real special. Just the fact that I know a lot of people back home support me and follow me all year long, and then the fact that I got to bring the trophy was even bigger. It was a lot of activities that we got to do. They got to enjoy a lot of stuff, and just seeing me and the trophy at the same time was amazing.
How much do you pay attention moves around the league, free agent acquisitions, other teams, and most of those moves are aimed at trying to knock you guys off?
Yeah, like I said, I'm trying my best to focus on our team. I mean, other teams do a lot of movement, and that's just like every off season. There's a lot of stuff changed, but I didn't really pay attention to that like that. Like I said, I was just focusing on getting my body right for the season. Knowing that we had a short off season, and also seeing the stuff that we can get better at for the season.
Yeah, Lou, since you got the roster, the franchise has been pretty stable. Not a lot of changes this year. Virtually no changes, other than a rookie who's not going to even be able to suit up. How does that change the dynamic of what you guys do? How much of an advantage is that? Just the stability of the roster, especially one this good, coming back intact.
Yeah, I don't think anything should change. Obviously, it's pretty much the same team. We all comfortable with one another. We just spent a whole year together, so we kind of know each other really well. So I would say just on our side, just keep doing the same stuff. Always improve and see some of the stuff that we can get better at throughout the season. But it's obviously it's good to have the same guys that we had last season.
Lou, last week we talked to Sam sort of about your development offensively, and I know we talked about it before, but he mentioned sort of your humility and just your competitiveness to be able to take a step back for the betterment of the team. What were some of the tougher parts of sort of adjusting to that?
I would say my shot selection was a big one. Obviously, when we had a lot of guys down, and then I was one of the guys that was healthy. I was able to play, and then I had a better task on my back. But other than that, just I had a lot of good conversation with the coaching staff, and I wanted to get better myself and be more efficient and all that as well. So we went through a whole plan, and we spoke about some of the stuff that was better for me and for the team as well. So I just followed it, and I knew it was going to be best for me and best for the team, and it worked out, and it's still working out. So I'm gonna stick to that plan.
Anybody else? We'll go last one for the.
You're talking about short off seasons. How much more do you appreciate like the Lakers of the early 2000s or the Warriors of the mid 2010s being able to like continuously do this time after time again after short off seasons?
Yeah, I would say they were probably real disciplined and you know how they, you know, I don't know how, I wasn't born those times, so I don't know how stuff was going, but you know, just having a short off season, you know, you got to be disciplined and you got to know exactly how much time you need off and how much time you need to get back on the court to be ready for a season. So I guess on that end, you know, they were real disciplined to do that, to be able to come back and you know, having more success.
Thank you, Luke.
Yeah.
So we have the mic here.
I think, okay, that's.
Yeah, Bruce. I have a feeling that he's going to be on the project this year, right? Would they both be conservative? Well, yeah, but they can't be. I guess, but I mean, run the same side. You got it. That's where the real fight is. I actually have no idea. Yeah. Just click your.
All right, one question, that's it. I already talked to Matt, so I hope it's a good one. All right, who wants another question?
See, I wasn't kidding. One, you get one.
No question.
Oh, they don't. Okay.
All right. Be straight or?
Okay, I'll leave.
Here we go. Who doing? Cliff, you got the mic?
So, a little different situation for you now. New contract, NBA champion. How do you approach all of this with all of that being considered? Targets on you guys' back. You've got television appearances now. All the things that you guys been fighting for, you have.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you stay focused?
It's a great one question. Wow. Congrats. Good question. What we've been doing, we're not playing for the TV games or the contracts or you're chasing. This is going to sound really dramatic, but you are chasing greatness. Like, you're chasing to achieve stuff that hasn't been done in our organization and in basketball, and that's everybody's motivation. I think that's why we're a special group. So looking at it like the contract, obviously very nice, very blessed to have that. It's changed the trajectory of my family's life for sure. The championship is something that you obviously play for, but all that's in the past. I think having wrist surgery, I think was a really good thing for me. It allowed me to be grounded and kind of focus on that and forget about the championship and everything else. So, but everybody's trying to compete and get back to, obviously everybody's saying defending, but we're trying to be on the offensive as well and do that. So we're coming in with more motivation to do that every year.
So it felt like last season, whether it was finally getting recognized, putting on an all-defense team, where maybe, you just did level up a level on that side of the ball. What do you think you changed last season that made you go to a new level as a defensive player?
I think first is getting the notoriety is not something that I said I'm playing for, if that makes sense. So my job defensively is to make sure I'm on time and I'm doing the right things for my team. And then if people see it, they see it. If they don't, they don't. But I think it's just the longer you're in the NBA and you apply yourself to defense, the way I have, you start to pick up little tricks and you start to really understand it. And I've been lucky enough to be in the same system for 3 years to where I kind of know tendencies. I know what we're trying to get accomplished. So when you have a level of comfort too, it makes it easy. And also I have 5 players on the defensive end that can be all-team defense as well. You have Queso, Lou, Shai's usually in the running, Chet, AC. So we have these guys that can really play defense and make an impact. So it makes it easier on me to give my all defensively too.
Curtis? From a basketball standpoint, how challenging was the offseason? Were you able to get work in, things like that?
Yeah, I'm always able to get work in.
With the because of the wrist
Yeah. I'm always able to work out and do that whole thing. I think it was a good blessing in disguise though. Just it allowed me more to take care of my body and not go full throttle. With the short off season, it's kind of hard to manage how much you want to work out and all that. So it actually made me take a break, which was nice. But I got my work in for sure. Still got some ways to go with it for sure, but I got work in. It forced me to be really creative. Me and my trainers who I had my camp, it's hard to do the same drills over and over again, especially when you're in a cast. So we got pretty creative as the summer progressed.
We saw you obviously traveling, the world, obviously, when, you had downtime after the season. What would you say has been your favorite part of this offseason after, obviously winning the championship? And what was it like to travel the world, I would assume, for the first time to go to places across the country like that?
I think my favorite part of every summer is there's a point where I can just hang out with my family and not have to go anywhere, which is obviously opposite to your question. But I think when I can just kind of be home and actually spend time with my brother, my sister, see my parents and family like that. That's my favorite part of the summer, because during the season, especially now that Cody's in the NBA, we don't all see each other at the same time ever. So that's my favorite part of the summer every summer. But definitely going to China and Japan was really cool. I've been to Japan obviously one time before, but to be able to do a camp out there, I thought was super cool. They don't really have basketball camps out there. It's not really a thing they do, so I thought that was really cool for me to be able to do that, and the turnout was super cool. So hopefully I can do that annually. And then China was an experience of its own. I've never been there, so just the amount of basketball love they have is really cool to see. I think everybody saw me on getting off the plane at 2 a.m. and there's hundreds of people at the airport. So that was a really cool experience. I think anytime you can go out the country and receive love for just playing basketball, I think it's a really special opportunity. So hopefully I can go back with these quick off seasons.
Yeah, 2 questions. One, concerning travel, how was your experience taking the trophy back to Santa Clara?
It was dope. My teammates were hogging the trophy all summer, so I got it last. It worked out good though. I was able to see a lot of familiar faces. I'm actually past the point where nobody on the team is like somebody I played with, so I'm getting old. But it's definitely special to like share that moment, especially like my coaches and like the ADs and stuff like that, like people like who were there when I was there. So that was really like full circle moment to be able to be the first person to bring it through there and just have the turnout that I did was super special. And yeah, like I said, like I think going for my freshman year with my coaches, having them be the same coaches that got to see me win a championship and embrace with me, I think was really cool.
Second question, we're told that the same doctor who operated on you is John Mateer's surgeon. Everybody in the state needs a scouting report on this guy's medical situation.
I'll keep it short and sweet. He did Kobe, so let you do that. Dr. Shin's awesome. He's been good throughout like the rehab process and just the surgery in general. Yeah, actually, crazy enough, I think he actually did my brother's ankle stuff too. So he's kept it in the family.
I was going to ask you about the Japan trip, but actually you already mentioned that, so I'm going to change the question. So can you kind of look back to the parade actually in Oklahoma City? Because you guys come down in on the street and actually share all the excitement with the local fans. Can you kind of look back on that?
Yeah, it was special. I'm not too familiar with everybody else's parades, but I don't think everybody would run the whole entire parade the way we did. So that was cool. It just felt very, very fitting. It's a very genuine fan base. And it's like seeing them when we were on the float just felt weird. Now, granted, there was some alcohol involved, so I know. So we were running around with that. But it was just cool. Like, it made me want to like jump in the crowd almost. So that was a really cool moment. It was definitely special. I feel like everybody kind of got to see like our personalities and stuff like that. And I think taking into account, like not everybody's seen us play, not everybody's been able to like go into the arena and see us. So for that to be some people's like first experience with us, I think is pretty cool.
The last one to Myron.
Yeah, you said in Slam, I'm kind of paraphrasing, you said you guys didn't need veterans to win the championship. And you're obviously the second youngest team to do it. How was that received just around some of your league guys or whatever? And do you think that is it with any kind of resentment from older players, anything by that statement or whatever?
No, it's not that you don't need vets. It's more if you can have a veteran mentality going into it is more the case. I don't know if anybody was offended by it. I don't think anybody should be. But we have like veteran presence, but you don't need, 5 or 6 like guys in the NBA that have been there for, 10 plus years. It's more about the culture of the organization you're in. And that's what I was getting at. When I got here, it felt like you're held to a higher standard, and the way that they do it is very professional, and like that's ingrained in the organization. So when you get here, a year or two in, you already feel like, quote unquote, like a veteran, like you've been through it, a lot of the ins and outs of the NBA. And I feel like this organization prepares you for that. And we've been able to mature through our experiences as we've gotten older. And that's kind of what I meant by that quote. Hopefully nobody's too offended by it, but it is what it is.
Thanks, Doug.
Yep, Shai's in here. That was my last question.
That was more than one question. Questions for Shai?
Shai, you never played this late last season into June. How did that affect your off season in terms of, I know you gotta get some rest, but you also work on your game, that kind of stuff. But you had a trophy to share with everybody, everything else. How did your summer go, the off season?
Yeah, it was good. Like you said, it was a little bit shorter than it has been in the past. I prefer it that way, if you ask me. But yeah, I just managed my time. Took some time off that I think was needed, and then was ready to get back to the work when it was time, and also spend time with my family, my friends, and kind of decompress from I guess everything that an NBA season entails. But yeah, it was good. Just a little bit more precise with my time management and my days managing them.
I'd imagine that, once you get to the level that you're at, it's the little things that kind of separate you from the other great players in the league. Just how much do you take pride in that behind the scenes work in the off season?
Yeah, I mean, it's made me. I was never a player that jumped out the gym or had any insane talents. I had to work for it. I had to craft and carve and mold myself into this player that I am today. I'll never forget that. And because of that, I hold that very dearly and make sure that if I'm doing anything, I'm working at my game and trying to be better. And it goes for everything in life, for sure, to get better at something. But I've had no choice in my career to hang my hat on hard work.
You mentioned, or can you kind of speak to the development of your relationship with Nem in the off seasons and how much of a benefit it is to have someone back home that you can work with when you're there?
Yeah, we've started working together, I think, since the end of my rookie year in the NBA. And before that, you just learn as you go and don't really back then I didn't even really understand what lifting and working out really meant. I thought it was just to get strong. But yeah, we both grown through the whole relationship, personally and in our professions. And to this day, we're super close because of that. But he's been tremendous in this. He's had a hand in this success as much as anybody. I like to say, without him and the work that he does, my body isn't where it is today. And then if your body isn't where it is, you can't go out there and perform. So he has a big hand in this, and he knows that. Nothing new, but yeah, it's makes it a lot easier as well. I like to be home in the summertime, and he's from where I'm from, so it's perfect.
Yeah, so over here. So what do you think of the proposed all-star format with international players versus USA? Do you think that's a good format?
What is it? I haven't seen it. What is it?
Yeah, they're talking about having a team of, I think, 8 international players and then 2 teams of 8 U.S. players and playing each other and then determining the champion.
I don't know. It could be fun. Before I give my opinion, I like to make sure that I get the opportunity to play in the game.
There you go.
Yeah, and then from there, I'll, I guess, give my opinion.
Well, if you did have some control over the format, how would you do it?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. The way I see it is they're after guys competing a little bit more, and I'm not too sure if the format is the reason why guys aren't competing. I just guys that make it are grown men, and they're gonna compete if they want or not compete if they don't want to, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. So the changing of the formats it's good, it's fun, it keeps the fans engaged, it could be interesting. It's what the league's supposed to do. They do a great job of that. But I think it's going to have to come down to the players just wanting to play or not.
Shai, the highs have obviously been high for Chet, but he's had some injuries kind of delay his development. Are there still levels you think he can reach or that you've seen from him that you think he could obtain this year?
Yeah, I think everyone in the world that watches basketball can see that Chet isn't even a fraction of the player he's going to be. He's missed so many games, and on the biggest stage, in the biggest game of basketball possible, he has, I think it was 5 or whatever blocks, and completely changes the game. He's the kind of guy that just the kind of he's made to play basketball, and he's made to be successful in basketball, from his height to his instincts to his feel, and he's just gonna continue to grow because he has a mentality that is sets him apart. So on top of all of the things that are God-given and you can't teach, he has work ethic, and he's driven, and he wants way more for himself. So the universe, the people in the universe have no choice but to watch Chet Holmgren grow. for sure into a player that he's going to be.
What do you? We all see the defensive end, and you mentioned what he did in the finals. What areas offensively do you think he could take a step in?
I honestly think, like, for a guy like him, like, the world is his oyster. Like, he can do whatever he wants. Check and shoot. Check and put it down on the floor. Check and post up a small. Check and drive by a big. I think it's just about him tightening those skills and figuring out where in the game, when in the game, how in the game. And that's a little bit on the team and guys like myself as well, to make sure he's getting those opportunities in the live play in the games to craft those skills. It's a little bit harder. Like a guy like myself, I got to craft my skills while you guys could say, rebuilding and not as competitive. So it was just more like trial and error. He has less room to wiggle, but I'm sure he'll figure it out. And it's on myself to make sure that he gets those opportunities and gets some reps and some run and help him figure out that process.
Shai, after the finals, we didn't get to talk to you before we knew the full extent of Dub's injury, but I just wanted to ask you, just can you put into context what he was going through and watching him sort of gut it out throughout the playoffs, getting 40 in the finals and beyond that?
Yeah. Dub, yeah, he's a warrior. He just did whatever it took. And he's been that all year. He's been that since he got here. He's been that for us. He's been like a Swiss Army knife and just does whatever. We have no bigs. He plays the 5. He has a broken wrist. He has 40 in the finals. Like, he's a competitor at his heart. And, like, when that kicks in, it takes over. And he's a winner because of it. So it's impressive what he's done. I'm not surprised, though. He's a big-time talent, big-time competitor, big-time personality. And he stepped into those moments because of that.
Dub mentioned that you guys aren't.
Go ahead, Justin.
Sorry, Dub mentioned that you guys aren't defending. It's how you're on the offensive. I'm sure it's easy to say that you want to wipe the slate clean, but how much as a competitor do you enjoy being the top dog, the team with the target on your back?
Yeah, it's what you strive for. We've all achieved something that we've dreamed about since we were kids. We've had plenty of time to relish and think about and have fun, and I guess you can kind of say just soak in it. I know how I have, but yeah, like Dub said, it would suck to lose the NBA championship in 2026. So that's the new focus. That's the new goal. And how we get there is the same as it's always ever been. Daily improvement and focusing on trying to get better at the things that we can control every day. And hopefully we look up and we've accomplished the same things we just accomplished. Shai, we saw you obviously, bring the trophy back home to in front of your hometown of Hamilton, and, show it off in front of thousands of people. What was that experience like? And what was just the experience like of, going through the NBA offseason with showing off all your trophies and everything that you've, accomplished in the last year? But specifically, how was it like to do that in your hometown this summer? Yeah, it was it's surreal. Like seeing a lot of people I grew up around, seeing a lot of places I grew up playing and going to school, and the library I used to go to as a kid, like just seeing those communities and those people, and giving them a chance to, I guess, celebrate and feel kind of what I felt was very special. I couldn't imagine as a kid Delario buying coming to Hamilton, so I kind of like try to flip perspective and think about it that way. But yeah, it was special, and I'm glad that the city and the fans got to kind of enjoy that moment a little bit, as I have. They deserve it, and they've been great.
Thank you, Shai. Questions for you? Go ahead.
Uzane, what was it like for you just this NBA offseason, heading into this year, preparing, coming off the title? How did you approach this offseason just for you, and what areas did you feel like you wanted to work on most?
I worked on a lot of stuff, physically, and basketball. Keep improve my shot. I worked a lot on my shot this summer, so yeah, I feel good.
What are the biggest since you've been here, you have moments where you really play well, then you get hurt. How much of that is been a mental toll on you, and then how you keep going forward, where you can, you want to stay on the floor, more consistently, I guess.
Yeah, obviously, sometimes it's tough, but I think it helped me grow mentally. So yeah, I'm just ready, and I'm doing whatever I can to stay healthy.
Where do you think you made your biggest jumps?
I think I worked a lot on my diet and my recovery. That was one of the main things. Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite part, kind of, the whole process? Seeing you bring a championship to the city for the first time, obviously, and you were a part of that. Going back home and cherishing this with your family. What's been your favorite part, just of the off season, and in that realm of possibility of you guys winning a championship?
It was amazing. I think the best thing for me was the parade with the fans. Just sharing that with the fans was amazing, and yeah, I loved it. But now we're focused on the new season. We focus on tomorrow, training camp. So, yeah.
You mentioned changing up your diet. What did that look like, and just how much have you seen that positive effect, not just on your body, but I'd imagine also mentally it kind of helps as well, right?
I was more gaining some weight for me. That's what I did the last 3 years. So yeah, I think I really improved in that. And yeah, I feel the changes mentally and physically on the court.
Yeah, Usman, you've been here a few years now. How do you balance the excitement of winning the title, but knowing that the Thunder roster is stacked and it's hard to get playing time? How do you deal with that as a professional?
Yeah, like you said, we have a really good team and really deep team. So, no, I'm just staying ready, waiting for my name to get called, and yeah, I'm here to help the team win.
Cam Woods got elevated to the Thunder staff this offseason. What has he meant for you personally?
Yeah, that's awesome. I liked it. I love it. We won a championship with the Blue 2 with him, so it was great. I congratulate him when I saw it. So no, it was just good.
Anything else for Uz? Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
AJ, go ahead.
Yeah, AJ, first off, you had a good rookie year till you got hurt. You came back and played a little bit toward the playoffs. How much does that help you going forward? And of course, on a roster that's pretty deep at virtually every position.
Yeah, the injury was tough, but I think for me it was a good setback. I think it really helped me just to take care of my body, get better in the training room, but then also get better, like watching film, being able to be around the guys like 24/7 and just learning from them. So I think it was a good setback for me, and obviously that time that I missed was tough, but I'm really excited to be back healthy and be able to go out there and compete.
What do you think you got better at from that?
I think just my IQ, learning like the NBA, learning the game on the sideline, and then just my body getting stronger and then getting in elite shape.
AJ, you obviously this offseason, well, not even off season, but during summer league, you kind of reached that too good for summer league kind of, with your play. What was it like going through that and, seeing the way that you played and, how do you kind of carry that confidence into this upcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, I think summer league is always fun to play in. You always, for me, especially my second summer league, being able to compare my first and my second one, and then it's an opportunity to compete, and I love competing. So I was really excited being able to play summer league, and I think it helps me to keep that confidence up for this season. So it was a great experience for me.
You talk about kind of the difference between that first year summer league and the second year in the comparison. What do you think the biggest differences are for you as a player, and then why do you think you were able to kind of build off of your first, then become one of the best players in the whole thing last year?
I think just kind of the game slowing down for me. I think when you go into your first summer league, it's like everything's really new to you, and then just being more comfortable, knowing the game a lot more, and then obviously just going out there and competing, knowing that you got to show that leadership role with the summer league team, and that's really what I wanted to do.
Staying with the topic of summer league, it's been a year. People are really excited to watch Tobic play for the first time. You're a guy who's played a lot with him with summer league, and what can fans expect, and what have you learned more just playing with him?
Yeah, I mean, it was great playing with Nikola. He's a high IQ guard, can run a team, and I'm really excited for him. I know it's been a tough year with the injury, but he handled it great, and he got back healthy. And playing with him in summer league was really fun. I think we connected really well, and seeing how we're able to like play on the court at the same time, with me being off the ball, with him being off the ball, and then just kind of playing off that. So it was a great learning experience for both of us, and it was a lot of fun.
This team obviously coming off a championship, it has so many different types of players and guys that can do different things, but it really doesn't have anyone like Nikola, that played last year. What does he bring to this team that you think could make a difference on a team that's already really deep?
I mean, high IQ guard, really good playmaker, can do a little bit of everything. So I'm really, really excited for everyone to see him play and seeing out there healthy. So I'm excited for him.
AJ, what was your experience with the trophy like this summer and the parade too? Kind of look back at that.
Oh man, it was a fun experience. Obviously the parade, I think just seeing our fans, our community really excited about us, and then just them really feeling a part of it, because they're a big part of that championship. So it was really fun, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, we got to turn the page now, get ready for this next season, and be ready to go out there and compete.
AJ, you got to get into the finals and play some key minutes, and just watching the whole finals run, what do you take from that as it applies to your game?
I mean, it was a great experience for me. I think as a rookie, being able to play in the finals was really huge for me. I think it's a whole other level, and for me, it was a great learning experience. And I think now it kind of gave me want to have more of that. And so all I'm focused on is keeping my head down, working hard, and helping this team win and do what we have to do to get back there.
Anything else for AJ?
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, good session.
Alex, what was the summer like for you? Just, traveling with the trophy too, taking it back to College Station and the celebration of that.
Yeah, that was really cool. I didn't get the chance to do that the first time, just because of, where we were as a world with COVID and everything that was going on. So that was fun to be able to go back and share it with some people that, have seen me, kind of ascend, to that pinnacle of this profession through the years. So it was a lot of fun. Yeah, a quick couple days, and then, kind of just continued on with my summer.
Wanted to ask you about Chet. He's dealt with some major injuries that maybe have delayed part of his development, but still saw the impact that he could have. What are some of the areas that you think he could reach kind of a next level?
Yeah, I think just through time, experience is the greatest teacher. So to be able to just be out there and get, like you said, live reps and the inconsistency, I think, of like timing with the injuries too. It's like he's playing a little bit and then he had the first one, and then, or before his first year, he had the first one, and then played for a little bit and then the second one. So just getting that rhythm back, I think was really impressive for him, just to be able to not play all of last year basically, and then come into towards the end of the year and try and get back in shape, try and get the timing down. So I think the more comfortable he gets, just continuing to find his rhythm and find the flow of basketball that comes naturally to him will be great. And hopefully this season, those reps and that experience will continue to just help him develop.
You've been a defending champion before. Can't remember if you went to Chicago right after that next year in LA.
No, we had one more year.
Yeah,
in
one more
LA.
year. Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of been.
It was forgettable. That's why you don't remember it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The point is, you've been a defending champion before. None of you guys in your locker room have before. Is that something you talk about, or again, as Mark said, you guys got an uncommon group? You don't think you need to do that?
Being uncommon is being, aware and self-aware, and I think, if we didn't acknowledge that it will be a little different this year, you'd be, probably a little naive in put yourself behind the 8 ball. But yeah, playing with the target on your back this year, I think there was a lot of times last year, even through our dominance through the regular season, that people kind of overlooked it or just was like, all right, well, let's wait and see how it pans out when it matters. And I think proving it in the playoffs and winning the championship, solidifies that a little bit, at least in the basketball community, as far as like how you prepare for somebody. Maybe there's the respect you give them on any given night. So that will be different regardless of, we want it to be the same or normal. Like our routine won't change, but we have to have the self-awareness and acknowledge that playing with the target on your back as the defending champions is different.
Alex, you mentioned the basketball community. I wanted to ask you, you have the most nicknames of anybody on this team on Basketball Reference with 7. How many can you name?
They actually just did it like 2 stations ago, so I could probably name all of them. I know I'm cheating a little bit. They asked me my favorite one. I think Caruso is probably the favorite one. You want me to go through all of them?
No, you're fine.
I can't. I did it 3 stations ago. Caruso, Accountant, Bald Mamba, White Mamba 2.0. How many was that?
I think 4.
Oh, maybe I can't name all 7. Which ones am I missing?
Bald Eagle.
Bald Eagle.
Goat.
Oh,
and
yeah.
AC, just the easy one.
Oh, that one doesn't count. 6. 4 to 6, pretty good.
Alex, he talked about you being the only one who's had a championship season after winning one. Is there anything you can take away from that season after you guys won over in Los Angeles and apply it here?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult too, because that year after was so it was so different than I think of how we're entering this season. The only similarities really are like how short of a time period we had to get back to it. But that second year I was in LA after we won the championship, or the 4th year, but first year afterwards, we had a fairly new team. We only had maybe 4 or 5 guys returning from that championship team. Whereas this year is pretty much the exact same DNA of the team makeup. So one thing I do know is, what I alluded to earlier is that, people know you're the reigning champs. Seats fill up a little easier. People start making shots maybe when they don't normally make shots. Things are stacked against you a little bit, but that's part of what being great takes is, being a champion, being number one, and then backing it up and seeing what you can do next. Because once the first game is played this year, everyone's going to kind of remember the championship, but it's on to the new season. Like there's no looking back. Like nothing we did last year is going to help us achieve the goal again this year.
I guess along those lines, Alex, the last 6 champions were either didn't get past the second round or they were first round knockout like the Lakers that year. What can the Thunder do to break that chain going into next season? I know it's hard to predict because it's so early, but just from the outset, what comes to mind?
Yeah, I mean, just finding ways to get better. I think the big thing for us, we took, other than maybe, the first in the conference finals, like the other 2 series went 7 games, so there's obviously room for improvement. And I think if, you come into the season thinking that it's going to be smooth sailing and it's just going to be the same thing, like I said a word earlier, very naive to what reality is like, because every season has a different story. Every team, writes a different story each season, just based on how many games there are, the ebbs and flows of the season. Injuries occur, things you can't predict, things you can't control. So I think for us, it's really just about seeing and finding ways to get better. And I think we do have room to improve, like I said, because teams took us to 7 games. It wasn't like we won 16 games in a row and, we're crowned champions. So there's definitely room for improvement. It's just about finding those areas and then working on it throughout the season.
Yeah, Alex, last year, of course, we had some intrigue at the start of the season. You and Isaiah had joined the team. This year, nobody's joined the team that's going to play.
Mm-hmm.
What are the advantages and disadvantages of just literally turning the roster, running it back?
Yeah, I mean, the continuity part obviously helps. It's not a lot of teaching early in the year, whereas, on different teams with new guys and you're learning different concepts and kind of strategically how you want to play. I think for us, that fighting the complacency, fighting the human nature of, winning and not sitting back and resting, but being on the front foot and being attacking the season and attacking the process of trying to get better, which I think we'll do a phenomenal job with. Obviously, the season we had last year is, up there with some of the greats that just have ever happened in the NBA. So I think assuming you're going to win as many games and win the championship, like I said, this word is coming up again, is a little naive. Like, you have to prepare yourself for tomorrow's first day of training camp. We got to go through practices. We got to go through preseason. We got to play 82 games. Like, there's a lot of stuff that has to happen. And I think, through that, just finding little motivations along the way, whether it's, through the team, through the collective. Like you said, we have a bunch of guys coming back. So finding different, carrots to tie on the end of the stick to chase, I think that's probably a big thing too, because obviously the goal is to win a championship, whether it's our team returning a bunch of guys with experience or people that have, revamped their team that have new life and new spirit. But, the process of getting there is difficult for everybody, no matter if you're returning everybody or, you got 6 new guys.
A lot of times we think about young guys, first, second, third year in the league. Hey, what do you want to get better at? You're a veteran. What do you want to get better at? What that you didn't do last season?
Yeah, I think for me, it's pretty, at least in my mind, and I think in coach's mind, it's pretty, transparent how I'm going to play and how I fit into the team. So I think it's just about creating the efficiency within that role. I think I finally grasped that towards the end of the season and into the playoffs. I think I started to play really well, kind of to the capabilities that I had played, previous year and a half, 2 years in Chicago before I came here. So I think it's just about building on that. I think it's about becoming more efficient defensively, probably fouling less, probably trying to become a more efficient decision maker on second side action, late clock offense whenever the ball comes to me, and then just finding little ways to impact the team and kind of raise the level of others.
Alex, did you ever request the Larry O'Brien Trophy at your wedding reception?
No, and everyone keeps asking me. I like to keep that separate from basketball. I think that was the main focus of me and my wife is to try and create that moment for us and the people that we care about as much as we could. We had a lot of time this summer to celebrate the trophy, and so we tried to keep that towards celebrating us.
Yeah, one last thing. So how does a veteran leader like yourself help someone like Topic? You mentioned the continuity. Well, that's the most significant difference.
Yeah.
How does somebody in your position help a young guy like that fit into all of this?
Yeah, I think the great thing about Tope is that, it's kind of a blessing in disguise. You get hurt like that at such a young age because you kind of learn the discipline of being a professional through that trial. Just to be able to come back from an injury of that nature, it takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of focus, a lot of days where you're just, I saw him last year. He's just him and his, Dan, who's his specialist that was on the staff. That was just him. They're working together, doing the same things every day. So that part of it, I think, is ingrained in him and will be great. And then just giving him the confidence and trying to help him learn, through the fire. That's really what it is. We saw that a little bit with AJ last year, where really talented players, you're going to get minutes because Coach Mark trusts guys. If you're a good player, you're going to play. You're going to find times through the season. And I think for him, it's just about trying to fine-tune his game and accelerate that learning curve that comes with being a new player in the NBA. And for him, I think he'll be fine because he's pretty emotionless for the most, to put it lightly. He's starting to make jokes now, which is great. He's getting more comfortable. But for him, I think it's just about, letting him know that making mistakes is okay, and then being the player he is. He's a really good player.
Anything else? Thanks, AC.
Thanks, Joel.
Yeah, Isaiah. First off, starting, what was it like bringing that trophy back home, especially sharing that moment also with Jay Will?
It was a dope experience. Us being able to, celebrate that moment together, and also with our families and loved ones that we grew up with, friends that we may not have seen in a while. The fact that our, community can come together and do something such as that, it means a lot, especially at being home.
You also had it at your camp as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess, have you really kind of, has it sunk in the domino effect of that it can have on the kids back where you're from to see that something like that is possible?
Oh yeah, just through like talking to so many people around the community, you won't believe the impact that you can have on the younger kids. You know, growing up, just you can change somebody's life just with a small interaction, and knowing that you have the ability to do that. You know, being the person that you are, just being able to lay your hands on kids and change their future. I mean, it means the world to me because everybody doesn't have the opportunity to get to meet who they can consider their idol or one of their favorite players, or even just somebody that's successful that's been through your town. And so I take great pride in having an opportunity to work with kids whenever I get the opportunity to, because you just never know whose life you can change.
Isaiah, you obviously had a in a sense career year last year for you, even during the regular season. Just how do you kind of build off of that heading into this year, and obviously now defending the title with that? How do you feel? What has been your approach? Heading into training camp now.
Yeah, always and continuously working on my shot, trying to create more space out there on the floor. I think my game complements our main guys quite well. That like to get downhill and like to play through space. Always working on my defense, my size, my IQ, things like that. Keeping it simple, doing what I've been doing, but just trying to turn it up a notch. In any winning play that I can make, I try to make it. This organization, the team that we have, they make it easy. So all we have to do is focus on ourselves and go out there and do whatever we can to win games.
You got a good NBA career going, Isaiah, but you're on a loaded roster. Do you feel like every year you got to fight for playing time just within your own group?
I mean, for me, it's just about doing, what I need to do. Those aren't the decisions that I make whenever I go out there. I think it's very fortunate that we have a lot of guys that can really compete. It only makes us better. And so every training camp, we have a lot of competition. We get better and we grow, and especially throughout the season, we do the same thing. So my job is to, focus on basketball, continue to grow, personally, and continue to find ways to help the team win. And those decisions are left up to coach, and all I can do is my best. So each and every year, just continue to get better.
Joe, you went to Philippines, and then can you tell us about the event, and then what did you think of all the fans and excitement there?
Talking about the Philippines?
Yeah.
The Philippines is nice. I honestly wasn't there long enough. I think I spent a total of maybe like 3 days there. But the support and love that they have for the game of basketball, you won't believe it until you see it. The amount of people who knew who I was out there as soon as I touched down from my flight, it surprised me, and I had a great time, great food, great people. Definitely looking forward to going back.
Was it the first time you're going to the foreign country to do that kind of stuff?
It was my first time in Asia. Yeah, so definitely want to make more trips, out there and just try to venture out and see different cultures, because you never know what you're missing out on until you, go see it and check it out. So it was definitely an experience, one that I cherish for the rest of my life, and looking forward to doing more.
Maybe next time in Japan?
Hopefully. If they'll have me, hopefully.
Anything else? Thanks, Isaiah.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Holmgren sighting? I didn't tell you, I ran into Chris at dinner the night. Might be short.
It blows my mind. Like I used to
Robert and Michigan. I think Michigan.
I was here, so I just
I'm not 4 minutes ago. In North which I never go to Ted's. Small. I did the Ted's in 10 years. I go to Terry America. closed the night before they were closed for 2 months. They renovated their restaurant. So we extend. I didn't know he moved to Denver.
Yes. He still gets a lot of their opportunities. It's hard to crack the Denver sports market. He's doing non-sports stuff there, but sports stuff is, he was at Stars Media Day. They flew him down to cover it. He's in the Magic stock very lively. Chris? Yeah. Yeah. They're still doing stuff for us. His girlfriend. She works for trucks. She got a job there, so I don't know. Let's see what noise. Yeah, he's real mountain out. Just get a world counter. Always hiking.
Yeah, they have like stuff to move it out of the way. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was really something.
That was an exercise in areas I agree with you. Some of these
Ready on y'all.
questions for Chet?
All right. What was your summer like? I mean, I assume you got to do the trophy and everything else. Got to interact with the fans. What was that like compared to other summers?
It was great. I'd say my summer was pretty similar to other summers, except for the first 2 weeks probably. And then about halfway through, I took a vacation, which I've never really done. But other than that, same regular programming. Stayed in one place for the most part. Had my weekly routine, workouts, nutrition, weight room. Kind of did it day in, day out, stuck to it, and came back later than I normally do. That's the difference. But we also got done later, so yeah.
It's more compacted though, I guess, because you play till June, I guess.
Yeah, shorter summer, but kind of the flow of it is pretty similar.
Chet, how do you feel physically now going into this next season compared to when you came back from the hip injury late last season?
Yeah, I mean, I feel a lot better. I understood where the team was at while I was hurt, and we had an opportunity to do something special, and I wanted to get back as quick as possible to kind of get my legs under me, get my feel for playing basketball again as early as I could, give myself the most runway before the playoffs. And I don't think any of those decisions were wrong. I'd make all the same decisions again, but I didn't have the time necessarily that I needed to kind of get my body to where it needed to be to feel great. So that was a big emphasis this summer in the weight room and in the on the PT table, just really making sure that I feel really good going into the season.
Shai said that you're just scratching the surface of the player you can ultimately become. I assume you feel that same way? And if so, what are some of those ways that you can reach that level?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that statement. That's a big part of why I work really hard, is because I know that there's more to tap into. But there's no checklist for reaching that. You really just have to attack every day with the right intentions. You have to really key into the details. You have to try things, be willing to fail, figure out what works, what doesn't work.
and then when things don't work, you have to figure out how to make them work. So it's really it's a never-ending process. There's no guarantees of what I will get to, what I won't get to, but I'm always going to chase the best outcome.
Every player grows up, dreaming of winning a championship, but the thought of bringing that trophy back home, I mean, is that something that you also envisioned as a kid growing up? And if it was it what you thought it would be?
Nah, I really didn't get that far, but it was great being able to bring it home. Kind of since I got drafted, just being so busy with basketball and everything, I haven't really been home for an extended period of time, so I was able to go home for a couple weeks, and I think I was the first one to bring the trophy anywhere, and it was special to be able to bring it home, kind of show the kids what's possible, because when I was growing up, there were no trophies in Minnesota, so just kind of wanted to show the kids that it's kind of possible, and like they might be playing at the rec center now, but if they work really hard and have a little bit of luck, they could do something like that too.
I was going to ask about that. What was the importance of bringing it back to the rec center specifically for you? Just how much does that place mean to you?
It meant a lot. It wasn't anything that was posted anywhere, or it really wasn't like in a public announcement. It was just, I really just told all of my buddies, old teammates, old coaches, friends and family, said tell your little cousins, little nephews, whatever it might be, to come, take a picture with the trophy if they want to. I had food trucks for all of them, got to play a little basketball with them, and a lot of people actually showed up. It was probably 800 something people at the rec center, and that's what it was about. I didn't want to make it some big public thing, and I really wanted it to be for kind of the people in that area and the people who are kind of close to my community, so it was special.
Yeah, so looking at the big picture of things, what does it mean to you that the three primary core pieces of this team have re-signed, looking at it from a long-term perspective?
I think it's great. I've enjoyed the time that I've had here playing with not only those guys but everybody else. I've enjoyed the time with the coaches, all the support staff, the front office. Everybody here is great, and you guys know, we all know, sports isn't forever. It never is, but it's on how long this is going to be what it is with the people here. It's going to come down to us, and how hard we work, how we execute, how we make the most of it, and I'm really excited to not only continue playing with these guys, but also to see them be able to get those extensions as well. It's life-changing, not only for them but their families and everything. So I couldn't be happier for them.
Last year on this time, a ton of the intrigue going into the media day was seeing how you and Hart would play together. Where do you think you guys made the most strides, and how do you think you guys can get better playing together going into next season?
I feel like there were a lot of different areas that we improved at. I also feel like we still have a long ways to go as a pair, as a team, and there's no team I would rather say that about and rather try to improve with than this team, and especially Hart. He's somebody who goes out there, gives it his all every single night, does everything it takes to win. The big things, the little things, the gritty things. He'll go out there and fracture his nose for the team. It doesn't matter. He's done it all for us. He's been amazing, and I look forward to continuing to improve next to him.
And then you guys are all really confident guys, but what's the difference in confidence going into a season thinking you can win a championship versus now knowing that you guys can do that?
I'd say the biggest thing is what we learned about how to chase something like that. Nobody's coming into the first day of training camp tomorrow thinking about championship. We're thinking about what we have to do that day to get better, and we all understand that we have to do that every single day in order to give ourselves a chance to accomplish something special like that. And that's the mindset that everybody has. We're all bought into that, and you can't focus on what's going on in June in day one of training camp. If you do that, you won't be playing in June. So we understand that.
What's it like off-season teams? Big, the West is always tough. Denver adds depth and size. Houston adds shooting. All these teams, trying to add to whatever it is to beat you. What's that feel like?
I feel like every team understands that they have to continue to get better, and we're no different. We have to continue to improve, continue to get better, and if we do that, that'll put us in a good spot. And that's the way that every team's thinking. So, I think that's just what we have to focus on.
Anything else for Chet? Thank you.
I'm like, am I even going to be able to set up? Okay.
Barry? Yes. I've been pulling for him all week. Literally. I've looked at, you know what I've done the last 4 days? I've looked at baseball scores.
The teams that have had like the Rangers record made runs. Cardinals are like 7 tomorrow night. 8. I have a really good Diamondbacks 2 years ago.
I'm all fired up about the Reds.
The Reds are either going to make a run of the World Series or they're going to get shut out in 2 games.
That's just I'm going to wear the cool uniform.
They can't get. If they don't, they can feel like they those targets on the mound.
I don't know.
What are they going to wear? Any chance they're wearing their 1960s uniforms?
I would probably not. I would. I'd rather rather stupid red ones.
Late 60s. They were really cool. Remember the top point. Which I probably if there, I remember their plan
For that time period, it's kind of planned around. I was at the times where there's traffic.
Yeah, right. And even if I liked it still, some about the NBA. Put enough in, but something goes out.
I was going to say, you only have 20
Right. Ball went out.
I'm kind of the same. Yeah, there's
Yeah, you're just like, let's see how far we can take
Yeah, that'd be cool if you came through the door.
They could be on their I would still try to gun to my head Philly's rotation is really concerning. Is it much more concerning? I mean, I get it. Having Nolan was a keeper. Yeah, those are the jerseys. They're not going to be.
Oh, it is. Is this on the ground? Yeah, I might do that.
Back again. What up? What up?
Go ahead. Here.
Yeah, and you guys got your whole roster back from an historic NBA championship team. That kind of continuity, is there any downside to that?
I don't think there's any downside to it. Obviously, there's a certain chemistry and togetherness that exists within our team construction and the guys. So, no, I wouldn't say there's much downfall to it.
What you learn through the playoff chase that'll help you this year? I mean, from start to finish, that'll help you this season.
I mean, I think the intensity of those games, and obviously the difference in game planning from playoffs to regular season. There's just another level to it. So there's a certain sense there that just kind of gives us experience and understanding of what to expect when teams really put forth their best shot, and when teams are game planning to at a different level of detail for you. So
you guys have always made it a point to not focus on the outside noise, but as a competitor, is there some enjoyment that you get out of the fact that you guys are the top dogs, the team that guys are going to be gunning for?
I mean, obviously, when you have success, there's a certain level of, happiness and joy that comes with, having that. But at the same time, it's a new season, so you can't sit, in that mindset. So, our guys are, ready to get back to work and put ourselves in position to, handle business.
I'm sure you've seen how fans have reacted just to the big speech you had with the parade and stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to know how much you've seen of that, and then if your teammates have said that you are going to be giving the speeches from now on after that.
Yeah, they tried to say I would have every speech that anybody's supposed to give. But yeah, I saw a lot of fan reaction and different interactions and stuff on social media and stuff. And I'm just happy that I was able to kind of have that moment with the fans, the city, our team. It was pretty awesome.
And then you took a big leap as a shot creator last year. What can we expect this year as you sort of build upon that?
I guess we'll see. There's different things that everybody's going to be hoping to have more, whether that's of a role or bigger expansion in something. So we'll see how things play out, but just trying to do whatever it takes to help the team win more than anything.
You put on weight?
I think I got a little bit stronger. I don't know how much more weight I put on, maybe a couple pounds, but not drastically. Trying to just get stronger. Not necessarily put on weight though. Putting on weight for me is I'm thinking like 10 pounds and stuff. Like we probably have some young guys who put on 10 to 15 pounds. I put on like 3 or 4 pounds. Yeah, I know. But I mean 3 or 4 pounds of strength and pure muscle. So.
Yeah, Aaron, you're a major part of an NBA championship team, but there's people that watch you play and say, hey, he could do more. He could be a number 2, number 3 option on some teams. How do you balance that as you survey your career? And you're getting a lot of minutes, but you could get a lot more playing for somebody else.
Yeah, focusing on where I am today. We just came off a season with great success, and love being with the guys and being a part of this team. So focusing on that, and not allowing outside noise to creep in or push me in any direction or sense, but understanding that it's my career and I'm a part of this team and this organization, and this is where we are. So
yeah, Aaron, back to your speech for a second. Did you take a lot of public speaking in college? Where did the skills come from?
Yeah, so I was a communications major, took some journalism classes, and then minor in leadership studies, and had a lot of public speaking classes and presentations I had to give. But at a young age, I was in front of my church, I was in front of the school. I did a lot of things with a microphone in my hand, so kind of natural at this point.
Anything else for Woody? Thank you, guys.
Beautiful. Short and sweet.
Thank you, guys.
Break down what he was in this church.
For a guy who's a natural, he would be one that's that capable.
Yeah, for sure.
Questions for PC? Go ahead.
Hey, Brandon.
How's it going?
Pretty good. You've been someone who, takes pride in doing the little things, maybe sometimes might not go as noticed as other things, but Sam recently said that sometimes people don't talk enough about you. Just from your perspective, what does that mean to hear that, to know that work is going recognized?
I mean, I think it's always great to get a little ego boost like that. But really, it's just like the, always doing the little things, and it's always just kind of having the mindset it's just what you do when no one's watching still, and I'm gonna, be the same, whether or not I'm gonna get the recognition or don't. So, yeah.
It always kind of struck me when you played, you didn't play scared. You look like you look to make some things happen. Am I right by that, or?
No, yeah, I'm never going to go out there and be scared. I think that's only when, bad things are going to happen. I'm going to just go out and, play my game. And, worst thing worse is you make a little bit of a fool of yourself. But, I think, this is a game that I love and, I've played for many, many years. And so it's just only, kind of just natural to just go out there and just play how you got to play.
Where do you see yourself fitting in with this roster? I mean, obviously we know who the starting bigs are, and they're pretty deep, but where do you see yourself fitting in with that group?
I got to do whatever, that's kind of up to coach, how I fit in. But for me, I'm going to bring in the same, intensity and energy every day to, practices and in the games and, wherever I see how coach sees fit, to play me or, whatever, then that's how it is.
What was the off season like for you? I mean, just been minding your own business for all your life, playing basketball at a high level, and all of a sudden you wake up an NBA champion. Do people look at you different? Does it affect your life in any way?
Not too much. I mean, I got a lot of, congratulations and stuff, and the off season was good to just be able to go home and, spend time with friends and family. But I wouldn't say too much has changed. It was a lot of fun when it happened, and now it's, new season. So we're going on ahead.
I'm just curious, but what was it like when you got the phone call, that the Thunder were going to bring you back? I mean, especially coming off of last season when, you had Mark Daigneault talking about the fact that he put you in the first quarter, that you were ready for that moment, and that he saw that months beforehand. And, just knowing that you'd be back into this organization for another opportunity, like how unique is that going into the season?
Yeah, I mean, I was super excited. I think it's great to be here from... Obviously, last season I came in, partially through and, was back and forth on different contracts. And so being here from the start of the season, I think just being around the guys, the team, to learn from the very beginning. And, I'm very excited for this opportunity and what I can take away from just being with a team for, a full amount of time.
Anything else for BC? Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
I only get one vote. The leader. Press conference minutes that needed to be. I think I had a word. Yeah, Jeff's over here doing nothing.
Questions for Tote?
What'd Summer League do for you? This is your first time to see you play. I mean, you got to practice with you guys. What Summer League do for you?
I did a lot of good things. Just to play the game that I love, it was pretty amazing. It was weird at first. It was like, what do I do now? Do I sleep? Do I eat? When do I do stuff? Do I take a nap? But later on, it was all better, and I think it will only get better.
This is your first training camp. Are you pretty excited about that, I guess?
Yeah, for sure. Just to be able, like I said, just to be able to play with these guys who are great, just to be a part of the team now, it feels amazing.
What are you looking forward to most, just being able to get on the floor with these guys, like you just talked about in the training camp and even this season? Who would you say heading into the season you're looking most to learn from?
I'd say everybody. Everybody has something to say and some advices that they can give. So I'm excited to get to know them, to try to make them better, and just to try to help my team get as many wins as we can get.
Yeah, even though you didn't get to play, you got to experience a championship run. What did you learn throughout that you can take to this year for your rookie season?
Yeah, it was amazing to be a part of that. It would probably be even better just if I played, but still, it was an amazing experience. And I would say just to like stay on the path, stay positive, believe in ourselves as a team, and trust each other.
Really unfortunate setback for Thomas, but a similar situation to what you were in last season. Have you reached out to him? What has your message been to him? And just how much are you going to take it upon yourself to help him through this process throughout the season?
Yeah, we talked a little bit. I think he's handled that really good. I gave him obviously courage and stuff, so we'll talk probably even more later. But I told him it'll be like 40th season of the game, and he'll be like, when I'll be back. It's too boring now to be on the sidelines, but you'll get through it. Just you have to find somebody that you can talk to, friends, family, whoever it is, and it'll make your life easier.
You're playing next to two All-Stars in J-Dub and Shai. I just want to ask, how excited are you to play next to those guys, and how do you think that your game can help complement them?
I mean, obviously it's amazing to be in the same locker room as them, like everybody else. But I think I help them maybe like get the ball up the court or something like that, and just make some passes. Get defense off their backs, like try to get attention to some other way, try to like free them up, if I can say it like that.
Any other questions for Tote? Thank you.
Thank you.
What's up, y'all? Good, yourself? What's up? What's up, y'all? Questions for Hart? Go ahead. That's it.
Starting off, bringing that trophy to Germany, just what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, it was really special. I mean, being able to, for the first time, to come back to Germany, I think was something really cool to see. I think especially just seeing the faces of the people out there, seeing especially the faces of the younger generation, I think it's something cool. I mean, when I was growing up, I only could really see like NBA and NBA players from afar. So being able to go back and have them experience that, give them hope that they can also achieve the same things I have achieved was something really cool.
You've obviously lived in different places growing up, but just what does that place mean to you?
It means a lot. I mean, I think for me it helped me a lot in my basketball career. I mean, I grew up there, something really special, and I think as much as I can, I just want to give back and give back to that community too.
Hart, going into Media Day last year, there was a lot of excitement, anticipation of seeing you and Chet play together. Mm-hmm. Where do you think you guys grew together the most as a combo, and where do you think you guys need to improve going forward?
I think just knowing how to play with each other. I think that was the biggest thing. I think coming into it, he hasn't really played with someone like me, and I haven't played really with someone the way he plays. So I think for us, it was figuring out how we can play off each other, and I think also defensively how we can rotate and be in certain situations that we both just don't. We're so instinctive trying to go block a shot that we both just don't go every time. So it's just little stuff like that, and we've been working in the summer and just trying to get better, trying to get the most out of it. And again, we played 20 games before the playoffs started, and I think we did pretty good.
And then how much did that help? I know you guys were working out in the off season. How much do you think that can help build towards this season?
I think it helps a lot. I mean, first of all, just bonding, working together, pushing each other is something that was really key for us.
Isaiah, you're 1 year in with the Thunder organization, and you've been probably one of the more outgoing in the community. Mm-hmm. Like, what's that meant to you, and like how the community has embraced you, and how are you and your family feeling within the OKC community?
Yeah. It means a lot. I mean, I think I've told a story a couple of times. When I first got here, Sam Presti took us to the memorial and kind of just going through that, seeing what the city's been through, but kind of seeing how from like such a dark time that the city made light out of it. I think the city came together and I don't think you see that a lot with different circumstances and how I think anyone in the streets would give their t-shirts off their backs to help the situation. So for me, after seeing that, I really wanted to uphold the Oklahoma standard and kind of really be ingrained in the community and really find ways to make a real impact. I mean, I'm not just trying to drop off a check and say, here you go. I mean, for me, it's how do I make a long-lasting impact, and yeah.
Isaiah, on the media guide, it says that you are up 17 pounds this year from last year. So number one, is that true? And number two, why, if it is true, why the bulk up?
No, I mean, I think they didn't change it since I was like a rookie. So I probably gained, I think, like 4 pounds of muscle, but 17 would be, I'd be a little bigger than I am right now.
Isaiah, will you be shooting more threes this year?
Hope so. We'll see. We'll see when the games start.
Anyone else for Hart? Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, man.
So, y'all.
Questions for Jalen? Go ahead.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, man. Starting off, what was it like bringing the trophy back home, and not only that, but also sharing that moment with Isaiah?
Yeah, it was incredible. Just being in my hometown and like walking down the same streets I've been on my whole life, and just being able to see people I've known my whole life that they've seen me in the Boys and Girls Club, or they've seen me at Kimmons Junior High, whatever it is. They've seen me everywhere. Just sharing that experience with them and sharing that experience with Zay, just know how much it meant to the city. It was incredible.
Aside from just immediate family, just who were some other people you were excited to share that trophy with when you did go home?
Definitely my homeboys. My homeboys was a big one because I played with them in high school, and they've helped. They've been with me late nights, rebounding, whatever it is. My homeboys was a big one, but really the main thing for me was just my family. Just seeing a lot of family that weren't able to come down for the games. Them taking pictures with the trophies. It was getting annoying, but it was super dope just being able to share that with them.
Yeah, is there any? You ever worry about the trophy? I mean, I know people are traveling with you, taking care of it, but when you're handling it and holding it, it seemed like that'd be a pretty good responsibility. You don't want to. People over the years, people have screwed up the Stanley Cup quite a bit. So if we start a basketball tradition, that could be a bad thing.
No, I don't think I wasn't worried with it or worried about it. We had everything handled. The Thunder made sure that we took great care of it.
Your relationship with Dub and your friendship has been well chronicled and how close you guys are. We didn't know the full extent till after the parade and after the championship what he was playing through, but can you sort of put into context what you saw him go through throughout the postseason?
Yeah, Dub's a warrior. First off, he's a competitor, and he wants to compete at the highest level, and he'll compete regardless of what's going on. And I think every game that he got a shot, at the time that I was in, I can say that, they know. But I was in the training room getting taped while he would go get a shot. So I would walk past him, he would like smack my leg or something, he would get his shot, he would come back out with a Band-Aid or whatever he got his shot in. Like, we would just talk about it. And I was in there when he got his first one, I was in there when he got his last one. And just seeing what he was willing to do just for the team and just to be able to win and compete at the highest level, like, how can you not go to war with a guy like that? And you want guys like that on your side. So, yeah.
Jay, Will, one of the first orders of business for the team after winning was to get you signed. What did that mean to you and your family to get the new contract?
Yeah, it meant a lot. The first thing I did after I realized I was going to sign the contract was got in a group FaceTime with my dad and my 3 brothers, and I think we all cried. Like, we all just were on FaceTime looking at each other crying. So it meant a lot just being able to provide for my family and provide for the people around me. And like, I got a new house, and it's big enough now to where my family's going to come celebrate Christmas with me and Thanksgiving with me. And I'm super thankful that Sam, Mark, and the whole Thunder organization believes in me, and they're putting me in a position to be with my family and do those type of things with my family. There's nothing in the world that tops being able to do stuff like that.
Yeah, talking about, all those blessings in your life, you're also a really good NBA basketball player. The world discovered it last spring, and yet Chet and Isaiah are ahead of you on the depth chart, getting more minutes. How do you balance that out? Hey, I'm loving this. We're having a great time. They love me. I love them. But, man, I could play a lot more somewhere else.
So I don't remember who I was talking to about it earlier. Everything the way I've looked at the NBA and my journey in the NBA and my journey in college is that everything's a blessing. I really started thinking about that more and more last season when I dealt with those 2 hamstring injuries. Is every time I step on the court, every time I tie my shoes, every time I do a layup, anytime I do anything, I'm blessed to be there. If I'm sitting on the bench watching those guys go out there and kill whoever they're playing against, I'm blessed to be there. And I trust Mark. I trust every coach. I trust every player on our team to put us in the best position. And if there's nights where it's not me out there on the court, it's going to be that. So I love our team. I want Hart, I want Chet to have a great, successful career. I want them to succeed at the highest level. And regardless of if I play 0 minutes or if I play 30 minutes, I'm blessed to have whatever I am, and I'm blessed to even be in this arena in the first place.
As you've seen Thunder fans or traveled maybe this summer, what has the reaction been to your moment on the stage after the championship?
Everybody keeps coming up to me saying that was a dope speech, and I'm sorry for all the kids that were there, but I don't know if I'll ever be able to do something like that again. If you watch the video when Hart was trying to push me up there to talk, I was saying I didn't want to talk because I didn't know what I was going to say, and it was incredible. Everybody loved it, and I'm happy that I was a part of it.
When you had that first training camp practice, all you guys are champions. Does anything change?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think nothing changes. I think that we go into the practice tomorrow the same way we went into it when I was a rookie. And I think that's what our team does really good. And our team, our whole organization is getting back to a 0-0 mindset. And I think when we lace up our shoes and put on our jerseys, the other team is doing it the same way. And when the ball goes up in the air, they don't care that we won last season, so why should we? So I think we go into training camp with the same mindset we have every single year.
Anything else for Jewel?
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
What's this experience been like? Hooking up with the Thunder, Summer League. Now you're training camp with defending NBA champs.
Yeah, it's definitely been a blessing. I think for me, it's just been an opportunity to be kind of a sponge and just kind of learn as much as I can. Especially this is going to be my rookie year, going into my first year. So it's been a blessing to say the least, and it's been a lot of fun so far. So I'm excited to get started.
What's been obviously the welcome to the NBA moment is kind of a thing for in this season, but since you've been drafted, what's been like the biggest shock and biggest like, hey, I made it moment for you?
A little bit for me. I think the coolest thing was I was able to go to up to Toronto, kind of where Shai kind of lives at, and he had like a little mini camp to get with the guys, and it was just kind of cool. I was up there, like we were playing pickup. A couple other like NBA players were in the runs and stuff that live in Canada, and it was just kind of a cool, just kind of gateway to see how this team operates and how close they are, and to be kind of invited out there and to go out there and to be up there was really like a cool moment for me, just to be around the guys. I've been around a lot of the younger guys in summer league, but to go up there and kind of see the guys, the top guys, was really a blessing. So that was probably my biggest moment so far, and it was a really cool opportunity.
Toughest guy you guarded out there?
It was funny. I was actually on Shai's team both times, so that was a lot of fun. But I think probably I switched on to Chet a little bit, so probably Chet, those guys, and honestly everybody up there was really fun to guard. So it was a lot of fun.
What's something about all these guys that you didn't know or surprised you that we wouldn't know?
I would say just kind of like how funny they are, but I think everybody sees how close they are, but it's just kind of how like the little details that they care about each other with, like whether it be, I think a couple guys have moved around a little bit this offseason, new houses and stuff, like they're in there talking about, oh, where'd you get your furniture from, like kind of who furnished, like just stuff like that, like the little stuff that maybe a lot of people think kind of goes out of the window when you come to the NBA. I think here, like those things get amplified, like they care so much about the little things that go into everyday life. So that's been a lot of fun to just be a part of a group like that.
Playing in Summer League, you played a lot with Topic. Just wanted to get your first impressions of what it's like playing with him. There's a lot of excitement for him coming into this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Topic is an unbelievable talent, especially passing the basketball. So it made a lot of kind of the guys that played Summer League's jobs a lot easier. So it'll be cool to just kind of, keep pushing the envelope with that chemistry in training camp and get out there with him again. So it was a lot of fun. And, he's so funny. I think that, like, the European, like, boundary, like, with communication sometimes can be really funny because, like, you kind of get to like open up to each other in different ways than like normal people would. Like you just kind of like, we opened up with basketball, so now we just kind of see each other and just kind of start joking about random things. So it's been a lot of fun. I can't wait to keep building that.
Anything else for Brooks? Thank you.
All right, appreciate you guys.
It does look, it looks well, it's so dang small. Yeah. It's like you're going to a two-way football game. Seats on only one side of the field, like McGinnis or somebody.
Oh, I gotta go. Oh, okay, bye.
Oh, you mean, okay, sorry.
That's one.
Good stuff. All right. Questions for Thomas? Go ahead.
How y'all doing?
Yeah, Thomas, can you just speak to the disappointment you went through and fought through when the injury happened and make you sit out, your rookie year?
Yeah, it was. I was awfully disappointed. Yeah, but I see it as like a blessing as well. I get to come into the league for a year just to learn the league and learn a lot from the guys who's going to be my teammates next year. So
Obviously, there's been history with the Thunder having star rookies have to miss their first year due to injury. But what have you learned from Chet and Topic, from their own experiences?
Yeah, those guys just been telling me just to stick to the rehab and, just to keep your head down and just keep listening to what the trainers have to tell me. So that's what I've been doing, and I feel like I've been doing pretty well at that.
You got so many good centers in front of you. What can you learn watching and just being around Isaiah and Chet and Jay Will?
I can learn a lot. Like, those guys have been in the league for quite some time now, so like I can say that I can learn pretty much anything I need to know about being in the league. You know, how to present myself and how to, like, you know, ask them how to get on the court. So I feel like they can help me in situations like that.
What does it mean, sort of, to you to continue that lineage of great Georgetown big men?
Just to stay positive. You know, I keep in touch with some of those guys like Roy Hibbert, Greg Monroe. I seen him the other day, and what's it called? Yeah, just to be me, just to stay positive and just keep working.
Hey, Thomas, so before the injury, how was your offseason going? You know, it seems like you've lost a little bit of weight, so how was the offseason going?
The offseason was going pretty well. Like, I was working out every day, you know, getting to what I need to get to, you know, doing what I need to do. Like, you know, the injury was unfortunate, but now I see it as a blessing. You know, I get to have a full year just to get my body right, just to get back to where I need to be, you know, to be at my best spot next year.
Anything else for Thomas? Thank you, guys.
Thank y'all. I took my time.
It's not. In this building, bro, qualified to answer that question. Oh, yeah.
Obviously, there's been some good defenses in the past.
Well, I mean, it's not.
Those guys, I feel like we had a bunch of NFL players.
It's right. This thing is that just stars. Maybe somebody turns into something. It's not like that. I think it's the best defense in 10 years. Okay. What year did you get out? 13, 12? 9. 15 was the best defense they've had. In 15 years. So they're really good.
I'm judging my
Hello, hello, hello.
Questions for Queso? Go ahead.
Kaysen, a lot of people know you as sort of a ready-made defensive player, but what are some of the leaps and bounds you're trying to take offensively this year?
I want to be more aggressive, you know, getting to the rim, taking more open shots, you know, just being more aggressive offensively.
And then defensively, you guys had that huge breakout between you and AC coming off the bench. What was that like, and what was the biggest thing that you sort of learned from him last year as a teammate?
It was a lot of fun. I found out that we can have a healthy competition going into the game, you know, defensively, seeing, you know, who's going to cause the most trouble. So that was fun.
What was it like just having the trophy, you know, having your family get to experience the Larry O'Brien, just your summer with it?
Yeah, so I didn't have it this summer actually, but yeah, it was great. You know, they were out here when we won it, and we got to share that moment together. That was special. You know, they took a picture with it, held it, and all that. So it was fun just taking in that moment with them.
Yeah, why didn't you get the trophy for a day or two? I mean, you live 2.5 hours south.
Cause they're ball hogs. Nah, I didn't know about the rules and regulations with the trophy, so I didn't get it. That was my fault.
I know we've talked about before that you didn't grow up trying to emulate a lot of defenders. You were watching more offensive players, but there's a lot of comparisons get thrown out for you, like Drew Holiday, AC, different guys like that. Are there any guys in the league that right now you look at and say, like, I can kind of see myself in their game, or you're looking at and trying to get some of their stuff?
I mean, I go to Lou and AC and ask them as many questions, all the questions that I have. So if you want to say them, then yeah, but I'm trying to be myself. I mean, we're all so unique and our games are so different. It's hard to, pick a person and try to be like them.
Several guys around the league are good at steals and get a lot of steals, but sometimes you just take the ball from people. And it happens too quick for the eye to actually see how it happens. What's going on when you just take the ball from somebody?
They put it right in front of me, so I just, when that happens, I just steal the ball.
This is the last one for me. I saw in an interview somewhere that you said that you were playing in like 10 and under leagues, like 5 years old. Is that true? And then you said they didn't allow you to play offense. When did they finally let you play on offense?
Yeah, so my brother is 5 years older than me, and they used to just put me out there on the court because I was one of them. They always treated me like a brother, and I was always with them. So the coach put me in this huge jersey. And they would whenever they got a rebound or to change of possession, they would try to roll the ball down there to me. I'm only 5, so I try to stop it and shoot it. Didn't score many times. A lot of times it bounced over me or, just having fun with the game. I was never old enough to pass the free throw line or go outside the 3-point line.
Hey, Casey, kind of piggybacking off of Barry's question when it comes to, playing defense, getting steals, is it more instinctual for you, or have you gotten to the point now where you're watching film and you know what players are going to be doing, like their moves and things like that?
It's a little bit of both. I try to let my instincts take over more than, the film, because, people they work on the move and they have counters to the move. So the initial move, I study and I try to, be ready for it. But for the most part, it's instincts.
What is being an NBA champion? What has that meant to you personally?
Since that was one of my goals before I even, started playing basketball seriously, it means everything to me, knowing that I got it done in year 2 and I have a lot more time to get more. That's going to be the goal, everybody's goal playing in the NBA. So, it means everything.
Anything else for Queso? Thank you.
Thank you.